What up, people? We are back in the shop. It's Saturday morning or early afternoon now, to be honest. I've been here doing a couple other things around the shop, but back in the shop and ready to try to get cracking on the deuce. Unfortunately, I run into a lighting issue, but I'm trying to improvise with this to help me out a little bit. But yeah, I have a tripod light that I'm trying to use, and man, I hadn't used it in a long time. Both the bulbs were blown, so you know how that goes. So got some coming from Amazon, but I won't be doing any work on this on Sunday. So when we get back on Monday, hopefully we'll have better lighting. But in the meantime and in between time, we're gonna at least get started. I got my extra air hose, so I have enough length from the run all the way from the compressor over here, and getting ready to just start hitting it with the air file to kind of smooth things out a bit. I was going over it a little bit with my straight edge, and we got some issues, but nothing too terrible. It's more so in the lower area. Some things just didn't get finished. Like you can see, here's a weld seam that never really got ground down, so stuff like that. I got to take care of that. Somebody did some body work, replaced the sheet metal, and just didn't finish, right? For whatever reason, I don't know. Maybe at some point this was a customer car and they couldn't afford to pay for it and gave up on it or whatever. Who the hell knows? But you can see also too, like right in here, bunch of little hammer marks. So, the metal is good, so we just have to work with it and cover that up with some filler. Doesn't make sense to be cutting a section out, especially right there in the wheel well. It's hard to shape that or cut a piece off another car. I mean, it's not really hard, but I'm not trying to do it. Let's just put it like that. So that's the case. That's where we're at. It's not terrible, but it's not great either. So we're just gonna start to uncover what we have and see what we really have and go from there. At the end of the day, I don't think it was as bad as I was thinking yesterday. I don't think it's gonna take me like months to do it unless I take a big break or something. But honestly, I'm fairly motivated to get going on this. The weather is starting to transition from summer to fall here. It's not gonna be as hot, and I want to get as far along as possible before it gets really cold. So that's it. That's the intro for today. Let's see what we can get accomplished. Stay tuned, everybody. Shawnee C at Motor City Customs. I'll be right back. Okay, guys, so that's the first pass on it. We can see that in a lot of spots there's not too much filler at all. We're quickly breaking through to the metal. I don't know if you guys can pick that up. And some kind of primer or base coat underneath. But in a lot of places, surprisingly, there's not as much filler as I thought there was. Some of that was just imperfections in the metal. Looks like somebody scuffed the metal with, I don't know, man, maybe some 60 grit or something, because there's some decent gouges in there. So we'll have to do what we can to fix that. But that's what it's looking like after the first pass. The lighting sucks, man. So hopefully tomorrow when those bulbs are here to do much better. But I'm gonna go ahead and go over it once again and get into the lower area. I saw some imperfections in this area here. So I'm curious to see what it's gonna look like underneath. So yeah, as usual, guys, hang in there. We'll be back with a little bit more, and let's see how far we can get today on this fact-finding mission. See what's underneath this epoxy. All right, guys, be right back. All right, everybody. So went over it again with a couple more passes to, just try to get down to the bottom of things and see what's what. Also spent a little time sanding those ridges, or that Bondo that we got right there in the crease. It definitely needs some more. But anyway, so what I was getting at is, for the most part, it's pretty good. But the black primer is kind of working in our favor, or the black epoxy sealer or whatever the hell it is. It's working in our favor because it's almost behaving like a guide coat. because we kind of have that white layer underneath. So it's helping to highlight imperfections, and they're leaving behind the dark witness mark. Not in all cases. There's some cases where I just didn't sand that low. But for example, right here, we got a significant low spot, and that's right where we got this weld seam. This whole area here that you see in black is a low spot. It's also helping to highlight the grooves that I was telling you about in the metal from somebody aggressively sanding the metal. So you can see that in multiple areas. Yeah. So we got our work cut out for us, but again, it's not as bad as I thought. In some areas it had already been sanded down, like in the wheel well area, that's where you kind of see a little bit of surface rust starting there. I'm gonna clean all that up. But we got some more low spots right in here by the gas door. So some kind of transition right here where we go from high to low. And I gotta work on that. That might be somewhat of a challenge. I gotta get the straight edge on it and see what's really going on there. But all in all, not too bad. I'm gonna sand on it a little bit more, change the sandpaper so we get a nice good bite on it, and hopefully cut down on the amount of time. But yeah, there's some other things that have manifested too. Like you can see right here, this is like some kind of gouge in the body work. Some spot right here where they didn't wipe it that great. And that's where that black is highlighting all of that for us. So that helps. We got a couple little specks right there, etc. All of that kind of helps as it leaves some kind of witness mark for me to work with. So with all of that said, yeah, we're gonna take it as a win. It's not perfect, but it's quite similar to what we ran into on the other side of the car. You know, it's like somebody started the work and just didn't finish. They clearly did some metal work and, you know, welded in a lower quarter. And they did a decent job on it. They just never, for whatever reason, never got a chance to finish is what I'm gonna call it. So that's where we come in. It's our job to finish and take it over the finish line. But I'm gonna try to get this done in short order because like I said, it's similar to what we had on the other side. So we've been there, done that. It shouldn't be rocket science. So I'm gonna learn from some of the things that we did last time around, and or the things that we didn't do last time around, and try to carry over those learnings into this quarter to make sure we can get it done, and hopefully in half the time. So honestly, the more I look at it, I'm thinking this shouldn't be too bad. We do have a couple of little areas here too, like those dark spots are some low spots, and it's kind of weird. I don't know what the hell happened right there, but you can feel it with your hand too. And there's one spot that almost looks like they had a pin puller on there trying to take dents out. So maybe that's what it was. I'm not gonna do any of that. I do have one of those pin pullers, but I'm not gonna waste time on that. They're low spots, so I can just fill those in with a little bit of filler, and they're minor enough to where it's like nothing, right? It's no big deal. But overall, I'm very happy. Like once again, similar to the other side, there were no like major metal imperfections underneath this unfinished body work. The closest thing we have to that is this weld that can be ground down a little bit more. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get the die grinder out and buzz that down a little bit, but not too much. We don't want to compromise it. And then we can go over that with a little bit of Duraglass, and then, you know, fix the transition there with putty. But I'm real happy with the wheel arch. There's no need for work there. The lower quarters are good. And all in all, everything seems good. So we just got to put in the work. It's going to take a little bit of time, and it's a little bit awkward because I don't have as much space in between the car and the door as I had on the other side. And I don't know. It's just kind of real dark in this corner. But I'm hoping when those bulbs come in tomorrow, we'll get the lights back online, and that'll shed some light on the situation, because the worst thing is trying to do body work in the dark, man. I mean, you're gonna miss something. Once that car is in the sunlight, you're gonna be like, oh damn, I missed that. So do whatever you can to make sure you have adequate lighting. Once I get those bulbs, they should be good. You know, it's like 500 watts per bulb, so we're gonna have 1,000 watts of halogen light covering over this car. Should be about 5,000 lumens for those who are that deep into it. So it should light the area up real nice. Excuse me. I still also need to do some work on the top of the quarter because running my hand over that, it's a little bit, not so perfect, just like the other side, but not too bad. And then once we get through all of that, we'll get on the roof because, again, we got some stuff going on here. Like there was some filler and somebody hit that with a, man, I don't even know, an angle grinder, a dia grinder, a DA, who the hell knows, but you can see that, so you know there's some filler there, and that's what somebody was trying to just figure out what was there. And not to mention we got some surface rust on the roof, so we're gonna have some work to do on the car. But I just want to get through these quarters, man. Once we get these quarters done, we should be good to take care of everything else. All right, guys, so that's it. Still working on this bad boy. We're gonna try to keep the momentum going and get as far as possible. Stick with me. You guys are my motivation, so go ahead and drop a comment, hit the like button, and if you're new around here and you enjoy this content, subscribe. I'm your host, Shawnee C here at Motor City Customs, and that's it for the update on today's Deuce project. Thanks for rocking with me, you guys, and be safe out there. Peace.